So here's the question everyone is asking. Am I eligible? Am I going to get the $5,000 DOGE dividend check that's being proposed? I have the answer, so stick around. But who wouldn't want an extra $5,000 in their bank account today? Well, let's talk about that. You're hanging out with Popsy Guy on the beach, February of 2025. It's about 72 degrees. The water's a little bit chopped up, not much, but you can see it's beautiful down here. All right, let's get into it. Will you get the proposed $5,000 check from the DOGE dividend? Well, I'm not an attorney. You know, I spent many years as a financial advisor, but the answer is it depends. So I did a lot of research before videoing this because I'm intrigued by all of this. A lot of clickbait, a lot of headlines, a lot of news commentary about who is and who isn't eligible for this $5,000 payment falling out of the sky. A lot of people are calling it a stimulus. It's not a stimulus. If what this group of people are doing, and the DOGE department, is just clawing back money, giving it back to the rightful recipients, those who paid in. Because don't forget, the federal government does not make money. The federal government takes your money to operate. So through all of this shenanigans in the government over the past 100 years or so, it's about time folks got some money back. But are you eligible? Well, if you do a little bit of research like I did a lot of research, you'll find out that you need to be what's called a net taxpayer, federal income tax payer. Right now, the numbers are about 78 million households. The proposal says that one check per household, so it's not one check per taxpayer. So if you got two income earners in your home and you're both net taxpayers, or depending on your filing status, you'll only receive one DOGE dividend. I know the reason that this is important is because some people are just not, they're already spending the $5,000 before they get it. Don't do that. Do not do that. Do not make plans to spend money until that money is in your checking account and you can afford to do that. That's how you get in trouble. You read the headlines and it's like, oh, I'm going to get a $5,000 check. You go check the mailbox every day, or you check your bank account, waiting for your $5,000 from heaven. Doesn't work that way. So the ability for you to determine whether or not you are what's called a net federal income tax payer is, number one, get your taxes done. If you're well, you've got to be a tax filer, first of all. That's a requirement. 'Tis the season to file income taxes, the returns right now. So make sure you get in touch with your tax provider. I personally, for years, I did my own taxes. I used TurboTax. I just thought I knew, and then I stopped doing that and hired a professional. By the way, that's a deduction. Tax preparation fees are a deduction. So if you've been one of these folks that for years have said, I'm not paying anybody to do my taxes, it's pretty simple, I can do it myself. This year, you may want to change that mindset, only because you may be eligible, but you don't know it. And the reason I say that, I'm not going to get into a deep discussion about the technical aspects of this, not even a proposal. It's not even, Congress hasn't got it. It could be happening as we speak today. Today's, what's today, March 25th, 26th? Sorry, February of 2025. It's not even in a position where it's going to be considered as law yet. But I want you to just make sure you understand that if you pay more in federal income tax than you receive in either credits and deductions, then you're considered what's called a net federal income tax payer, and you're eligible. So right now, the numbers that are being floated around DOGE are about 78 million households. And as I said, it's a household, not per taxpayer. So if you're a working couple and you're both paying federal income tax and your paycheck, don't go to bed thinking you're getting a $10,000 check, because that's not how it works. So let's talk about people in my age group, over 60, specifically those who are receiving Social Security retirement benefits. This applies to the disability as well as the SSI benefits. There's a lot of chatter on the internet that you need not to pay attention to, which is Social Security recipients are not, I repeat, the chatter says we are not eligible for the DOGE because we don't pay income tax. It's not true. Absolutely not true. When I said it depends, it certainly does depend. This is why using a professional tax preparer this year may help you. So the other thing that's important to know is if you're on the ACA, the American Care Act, and you're receiving what's called a PTC, a premium tax credit, that's going to affect your eligibility for the payment as well, because that is a tax credit. That tax credit is based on your income, and you can either use it to help pay for health insurance premiums or receive the difference between what you paid for health insurance premiums and the credit that you qualify for. You can receive that back as a tax refund, which means you now no longer are a net federal income tax payer. So the reason I'm speaking very, what's the word? I'm not talking as fast as I usually talk. It's because I want you to do your own research, understand what a net federal income tax payer is, and determine whether or not you're looking forward to a tax refund this year. Because if you are, and you've already filed your income tax, and you know you're getting X amount of dollars back, then you're not eligible. You already got your money, right? The federal income tax is an accounting system that says, based on all these criteria, you owe the federal government this much money. How much did you pay during the year is then calculated, and if you paid more than you should have, you'll receive a refund. If you did not pay, you will owe income tax, additional federal income tax. Now you've all of a sudden become a net federal income tax payer. So what good is it? It sounds awesome. I'm getting a $5,000 check, people say, but yet I paid, $4,500 more in federal income tax than I had thought I was going to. Anyway, I wanted to have this conversation with you because two reasons. Two. Like my grandson says, I'm two. Don't spend the money until it's in your account. Do not think because you each file separately, you're each going to get a $5,000 payment. It's a household. It says this may change as well. I haven't really seen anything specific to filing status, but when they say household, that pretty much means one check per household. So don't spend the money you don't have. That's all I'm saying. And I think it's important to know because you are a consumer, as I am, of social media news. I mean, you're on YouTube right now. There's a good chance I am not the only person you're listening to. What I want to warn you about is I've seen so many YouTubers just say stuff that is not true for clickbait. And one of them, and I think I mentioned it, if not, I will, is that Social Security recipients are not eligible for the DOGE dividend. Not true. I said it depends, and it does depend. Right? Are you a net payer of federal income tax? I don't know. Only you know that. So the reason I wanted to put this video together for you today is if you're over 60, you've seen it. You've seen all kinds of stuff in your lifetime. Right? What did Abraham Lincoln say? Oh, he posted something on Facebook one day. He said, what are you going to believe, me or your lying eyes? Did you get that? Abraham Lincoln posted on Facebook. Don't believe anything. It's too early. There are too many people wanting to sell you something. There are too many people that want to scare you into watching their YouTube channel. There are too many people that want to scare you and steal your money. And I did a whole video on that. Check it out. It's talking about how to protect yourself against fraudsters and scammers, and specifically financial scams, right? Not just getting your information, but getting your money. You got to protect yourself. So don't fall for all the hype that you hear on YouTube about getting a $5,000 check or not getting a $5,000 check. Who knows? Not until you see that money deposited in your account would I make any plans. I want you to comment because I can, in my mind, see the comments, which are, yeah, no kidding, Popsy guy. I'm not spending money I don't have. That's not the way I live. And there might be other comments that say, what? Somebody told me I'm eligible, so I've already committed that money. I'm doing this or I'm doing that with it. I'm warning you right now, don't do that. That's a mistake. If the money comes in, wonderful. If it doesn't come in, you don't lose anything. Right? Think about it this way. You started with nothing. You ended with nothing. You lost nothing. That way you can sit back, listen to the news, listen to all the talking heads on YouTube telling you what they think they know. I know what I don't know, and that's a lot. But I do know that it's too early to make any decisions. And don't spend money you don't have, but do your own research. I didn't mention it earlier. Here's a little confession for you. When AI first came out, right, and all the chat bots and chat GPT was all the rage, I backed off. I said, you know what? I don't want to have anything to do with that. Not because it's the mark of the beast, which some of my Christian friends still say. It's because, I don't know. I don't trust it. So I let it ferment for a while. And now, between you and I have both ChatGPT and Elon Musk's AI called Grok installed in my phone. And that's where I did my research. And it's pretty wild. You can ask it a question, just like if you and I were walking together on the beach, which we are, and you said to me, so can you define for me what a net federal taxpayer is? You can ask it that question. And it will give a tremendous amount of information that it pulls from all resources. But what's weird is it talks like you and I are talking. I'll give you an example. Not sure if it was Grok or if it was ChatGPT. It would say, but wait, that doesn't make sense. And then use a thread of common sense to make an argument that I hadn't even thought of. Like, well, wait a minute, how did you do that? And it will use terms like meanwhile, or hold on a minute, let me think about this a little bit more. Here's what I found out. It talks that way. Which I find fascinating, scary, exciting, fascinating. But you know what? We don't have to go to the library and pull out the Dewey Decimal System and find the books. We don't have to go to our bookcase and find the latest Encyclopedia Britannica. We don't even have to search Google. We can ask Chat GPT or Grok. I think they're going to have 4 and 5 out later this week. That question, and it will give you an in-depth answer. And it will be as if it's talking to you. That's weird. That's the world we live in. That is the world we live in. So, anyway, I promised you last week that we'd be back out on the beach today. Wanted to give you an opportunity because some of you are not experiencing the nice weather that we are. But you all will. Spring is in the air. So don't lose heart. Paul said it in 2 Corinthians. He said, we don't lose heart. Outwardly, we are wasting away, but inwardly, we're being renewed day by day. These light and momentary troubles are achieving for us an eternal glory that far outweighs them all. So we fix our eyes not on what is seen, but what is unseen. What is seen is temporary. What is unseen is eternal. So God has blessed us with this, but our lives are temporary. We don't know what it's going to look like in the next life. But I do know that God wanted us to enjoy this today in this life. So this is Popsy Guy signing off. Last word of advice. don't spend money you ain't got. Oh, we'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.